Sweet. G7 was $69. Quick question. Should I send you a message with contact info, or will you contact me if you decide to travel to Sweden? Trying to keep this in, trying to type this in chat is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I think the best thing to do, Sweet, is if you could email the mailbox, because at the moment I have no plan to go to Sweden. But by the time if I suddenly plan to go to Sweden for whatever reason, I'll have forgotten this and I'll be like, who's that guy? Just email the mailbox and then I've got the email on file. That's the best one. Trenton fan, you've never been out of Romania. You can't tell me to go to anywhere. Get yourself out of Romania and then we'll talk, alright? Time is it? I've got time for another one. Come to Brazil as a meme. Dude, I'm not into the whole meme thing. The whole meme thing. Everybody's into memes. They'll blow over. It'll only be a couple of years and people have gone, oh, memes are so last century, you know. Pet Below, thank you for 34. Let's see. What's that? 28-ton mining device. Oh, I see. I fancy that as well, that tank. But it's gone the wrong way. You scroll through your Twitter feed and spot how many tweets are just text. Spot how many tweets are just text now. Same with like your Facebook thing. How many messages are just text? Everything's videos, GIFs, memes, all of it. I like the look of that tank. Like, people don't say much original anymore. They just kind of post other people's stuff. That's all that seems to happen. It's weird. Oh, you call me what you want, Kid Funkadelic. Cynical would be a more accurate description. Might take that one. Would work. Let's see. Piatra. Let's go to Piatra. Mobile phones have killed conversation. I actually feel sorry for the young'uns. They communicate through their phones more than they do with each other now. It's just scary. You know, we're like gradually losing the ability to write with a pen and pencil. Like, that is becoming harder and harder because we keyboard and everything. It's the same with like conversations. Like, people are not sitting down and just talking to each other quite so much. They're just texting each other. It's the proverbial kind of, you know, see a group of teenagers and they're not actually talking. They're just like that. It's like that, but to a scary extent. That's why you do calligraphy. So I'd find calligraphy quite relaxing. I see calligraphy more as like an art than anything else. Oh yeah, many jobs are on the computer. I'm not, that's what I'm saying, Kenko, it's just like an observation. I don't think there's any way of going back from it. In the same way that, you know, how many people can read a map? How many people, let's say how many people under 25 could sit in a car and navigate using a map? I reckon they'd find it pretty interesting. What's a map? I mean, this chat is slightly skewed in some ways, though, isn't it? Because, like, you guys are all into trucking, you're all into driving, you know, you're a little bit different to the norm. But if you was to step outside of this stream and ask the same question, you might get a different answer. Howdy, lover, thank you for 3 months. Papa Larazu, I've not raced since last week. Had a metric ton of stuff going on this week, so I should be back racing. I know it's week 13 coming up, but yeah, I am definitely still racing. Can my kids use a map? I don't think they can, PC Kelly. Because I've not taught them, and I don't think they've been taught at school. Like my daughter, my eldest daughter has no... Like, she could see road signs, and she hasn't got a clue. Hasn't got it. Like, if you put on the motorway, and she saw a town name... You know, I don't know what you guys are like, but if you're on a motorway, and you saw a town name, would you have any idea if that was going in the right direction or not? Because she wouldn't. If she was on the M25 and one said like Watford and one said Dartford, she might go, oh, I know Dartford, but mostly she'd struggle big time. Febulily, thank you for 10 months. And you know, it's not really her fault per se. Like she doesn't need to know now. This is the thing. She doesn't need to know where towns are geographically in the country. Like you say to her, well, where's Birmingham? Like from here on the compass, where's Birmingham? Where's London on the compass? You know, she doesn't need to know because you just pull your phone out, Google Maps, you're done. So it's not her fault. It's a side effect of having such technology that can give you instant access. Mr. Borky, welcome back. Snookerman, thank you for 18 months. 1 sec, I think I missed your message. No, you didn't post one. You have a rough idea where to go with that without a sat-nav. You should try it when you can. I don't know if you can drive or not yet, Train Sim fan, but try it as an experiment. Like, leave your town, go full out of your town by 50 miles, and then see how well you do. Captain Flint, you don't need to be a sub to be here, but it helps. You have to be a nutter. A nutter. Thank you for 30 months, Captain Flint. Maps are totally not a thing before phones. Yeah, but, you know, reading maps... It's like, you know, on my PPL course, you have to learn how to navigate. You have to learn how to use maps. Distances, bearings, like, all of that stuff you need to do as part of your PPL. As soon as you get your PPL, pretty much most people are going to be, like, pulling their iPads out, firing up Sky Demon, and just going, right, we're going there. But that's not the point. If your tablet failed you and you had to pull your written map out, your old school map, would you still know how to use it? Because you can't just pull over. Like if your sat-nav failed in your car, you can't just pull over. Like in the sky. First thing you got from your dad as a present for passing your driving test was a proper map, not a sat-nav. Nice. No calculators during class. Well, yeah, I mean, calculators disrupted people being able to do a few things like long division and mental arithmetic, you know, definitely suffered since the advent of calculators. But again, that's just the way it is. It's a side effect. Why would you play F1 2018 as you play iRacing? Because I want to focus on just iRacing. Uh-oh. Rip. So if you go forward like 2 months, DPH, right? Not many people are going to be playing F1 2018. Particularly when the season ends in November. Whereas they'll still be iRacing. It's not worth my investment because it just goes nowhere. Whereas anything I do in iRacing will still count in 6 months' time. It's weird the way the dash only properly lights up when the main beams are on. Like the needles lights up in first stage of lighting, but the dials don't. This truck is in the mod spreadsheet, Aaron, yeah. I think Motley put it in there. Okay. Alright, you go around the outside of me on the roundabouts and I'll take the fine. Seems legit. Well, Gregis, you might want to look at that new Assetto Corsa coming out then. Romania opened only 32k of motorway, and last year it opened 0. I'm not sure what you're saying, Trenton Fen. Overlays, add-ons for iRacing to mod spreadsheet. Could do. They really are. They really are bad at roundabouts. Is this thing? It's the Mac R from Harman. The only thing is, I wish this tanker was like red instead of blue. Ooh, mountains. Traffic Rat, thank you for 13 months. Imagine the House Convoy with AR cars. I think they'd just turn them off, wouldn't they? I'm pretty certain, Chris, that'll be a server setting. Because, like, When we went down at the end, when I went down into the quarry bit and there was like loads of vehicles, the frame started to get really heavy. So if you start adding trucks and AI vehicles in there, you're going to get the same thing. Yeah, Vasha also has a load of stuff like iRacing where it tracks how you drive, gives you a safety rating and driver rating and stuff. What do you mean, Lupo? Yeah, I'm sure they will, Chris. I reckon it'll be a server setting. Now, Pringle, I smell a troll. If I'm honest, Pringle, I think you would look good in anything. Old school or new Speedos. Less is best. I think that depends on who's wearing it, to be honest. There are things that you can see that you can't unsee. No one looks good in Speedos. That's not entirely true. Whereabouts are we? We're heading west in Romania at the moment. I don't know what the nearest town is, though. Duncan Goodyew, that's an old name, blimey. I heard that for a long time. Wow. Okay. Keep telling yourself that, Cascade. Yeah, I used to look good in Speedos. Speedy, have a good one. I used to look good at him. I remember, I've still got a photo of me in Speedos, I think. Was it Speedo? Yeah, I'm sure it was Speedos. I look pretty good. did you start your PPL? Just booked a trial lesson. Big, so it didn't happen. Just booked a trial lesson with a flight school. And then decided I didn't like it. And then booked a trial lesson with a different flight school and decided I liked it. If you ever book a trial lesson for a PPL, I know I've said this before, but if you ever do it and you don't like it, try a different school. Just to be sure. Because they're all different and they all do it differently, and the instructors are different and the schools are different. Sweet G7, thank you very much for the deliveries again, and see you soon. Don't forget to email the mailbox. What was better, the second? What was better about the second school? The way they treated you, the way they taught you, was the way they actually cared and listened to what you wanted to say. The first school, it just, I think it was it Stapleford, the first one? The first one was horrible. It was like some guy that just took me up, did some steep turns, went, there you go, and walked off at the end. It's not okay. The second one was like, listen to you, what you want to do, like what you're trying to do. You know, took me up, took you around, like you take some photos of Chelmsford, like just enjoyed it. Got to enjoy it. That was the main thing. And at the end, sat down and said, "What do you want to do? It's something you want to consider doing." Completely different. Did a trial at Barton Airport, so you, grumpy instructor. There's always going to be those. I know, right, Cheap Blue? I wish people read the title. I wish people read the game. Reading is hard. Yeah, but they can write a question. Just get the new farm sim. I'll get it and try it out. Where do you do the exams on the computer or written? It's in a weird crossover right now, simulators. So all the exams I did were all written, but the last two, the mocks were online. If you was to sit the exams now, I think all the mocks and the exams are online. It's basically transitioning right now. Squirrel Logistics, thank you for 250 bits, appreciate that. Nuppy, welcome. It'll soon be time to get the autumn-winter mods. Goodbye sunflowers, goodbye green trees. Hello icy cold winter. I don't think the summer's gone quick. I think people always say that, but if you think about how much you've done, yeah. Chris, do you think Grimes will update his autumn for 132? Proper winter physics mod. Yeah. The game's physics just don't really support that, you know? Trucker guy. Love to see you using the R model Mac. This was my first truck in 1979. Wow. Thank you, trucker guy. Let's bring back memories for you. Not having that. Some of Jazzy Cat's trailers are weird, why? Foggy weather seems to work 132. Well, foggy weather's supposed to have a massive update, but I think the guy had some, like, family problems or something. Baz, when you do your final check ride, will there be an independent instructor, or will it be your current one that will judge you on the flying? You are not allowed. Okay, so you have to be. The check ride has to be done by an approved instructor who's qualified in assessing you as well. That's important because they have like different levels. Like some can train you on certain things. Some can train you on everything, and then some can actually take you on a skill check ride. There are different qualifications that they get. You cannot be assessed by anybody that has taught you for more than 25% of your total hours of training. So that rules out at least 2 instructors that have taught me. Well, night flying near lunch is something that I want to do as we go into winter. Hence why I want to get my PPL. Truck on the left, hold your line. Track limits, squirrel, track limits. That's a 1X. You didn't get trained by the same person all the time? No. No, the guy that took me for my initial trial lesson, he was the one who taught me like at least half of my training. Every now and again I had a different instructor, like if he couldn't do it, if he was double booked or whatever. But mostly it was this guy. And then back in about May, he suddenly took ill. And he's still not great. Like, he's still not back training. He's still not back at the flight school. He hasn't got his medical back. So a different instructor took over and has done like another quarter of my training. And then now I'm on a third instructor who's kind of finishing it off. I hope so, Miko. But it is week 13, so I don't know. Good night, 2/3. When you change your nickname on MP Trucker, you're banned from the server for 10 days. Why? There's not a massive difference in training styles, Johnny, but obviously each instructor will do some things slightly differently. Like on the navigation map, for example, each instructor will, like one instructor will say, oh, draw the current wind arrows on your chart, other ones won't bother. When you're coming into land, one instructor will say carb heat to hot all the way into touchdown, another one will say carb heat to hot and put it to cold just before you touch down. Stops it drawing stuff up into the engine. You know, like, every instructor has little things that they specialize in, little things that they focus on, and little things that they do differently. Like, if you went out on a driving lesson with 5 different driving instructors, they would all have different things that they would teach you and focus on. JFB 1985, welcome to the house. Thank you for your support, JFB. Are they self-employed? They work for the Height Flight School. Well, the way I understand it, Hargreaves, is I think they get paid like a minimum salary, and then whenever they like mark an exam or go flying, then they get paid. So they basically get paid more if they fly more. It's something like that. I'm not entirely certain. Plan to go for CFI once you obtain your CPL. To add as many hours as possible in the air with as an instructor. This is something you want to do, go for it. Is your goal, Melibite, to just be an instructor then? Like, you just want to train pilots, basically? Like, the guy who's been teaching me recently, he was a Boeing flight sim instructor for about 7 years. So he basically taught loads and loads of Boeing pilots in the UK. Using the full motion flight sims, he was one of the instructors there and the assessors. Before that, he was a commercial pilot, obviously. Well, sims definitely help you with your flying. You can actually, I think you can do about 4 or maybe 5 hours on a certified sim, and it counts towards your PPL. So that gives you an idea of how real sims are. From what you've heard from other pilots, the best path is getting position is to start as an instructor, then switch to first officer. Oh, I see. Yeah. You see, Melibite, funny you should say that. You remember I was saying to you that the first school that I went to had an instructor that took me up for a trial lesson, and I didn't feel comfortable, and I didn't feel like he gave us stuff, basically. I think he was doing exactly that. He'd become an instructor just to get his flying hours up, so that he could then go on to do commercial stuff. That's exactly what he was doing. So the only thing I would say is, you know, if you do that, if you go down that path, be wary that you can effectively do what he did and almost put me off flying completely, because he just didn't make me feel welcome at all. Nero, thank you for 41 months, bro. Oh, it's a completely different game, Kitten, with a wheel. Phillips, this will definitely be the last delivery. If you love flying, you're not going to stop because this is an instructor. That's not true, JJ. That simply is not true. Because, I'll tell you why, JJ. You don't know if you love flying at that point. Like, you might have been flying on a sim for 2 years. You think, I love this, I might try it for real. You get up there, you get in that plane, you get all the noise, you get all the smells, the heat, you get thrown around like you don't in a sim. And if that instructor just starts chucking it around, and then when he lands, he just walks off and doesn't even ask you, like, that can literally put you off flying. You go away thinking, maybe this isn't for me. I can tell you from experience, the very, very first trial lesson I had when I was thinking about being a commercial pilot, that instructor put me off flying. Yeah. He put me off flying. He pulled the throttle and sent it into a deep dive. And I just like, whoa, that was too much for me. That totally put me off flying. Globetroller, you think there's any truth in this? I've heard that the wheel will break if you play without power in it. I'm doubtful. I have no idea. I don't want to try. So, JJ, 100% don't agree with you from experience. Everybody knows that a good teacher can put you off a subject, yeah? A good teacher can make you love a subject. It's no different in flying. You might think you like something, but the guy that you're with puts you off it. I don't know if I could, Captain Jen. I don't know what you'd have to do to become an instructor. I know there's a lot of exams and paperwork you have to go through, I know that much. Wasn't the roast at all, Train Simpan. Not at, if you think that's a roast, blimey. Come on, stop going around the outside all the time, you muppet. Good mind to take your boat out for that. Happy Hanukkah! Perfectly pitted boat. Feels good, man. He deserved it. You get on a roundabout and go round the outside of somebody like that. It just, you deserve it. I sunk his battleship, I really did. That was his battleship. I just torped it. I don't think I even damaged the trailer. Oh, 1%? Surely that didn't come from that. Yeah, it's still worth it. I put him off boating forever. He hates truckers now. Heard stories about horrible instructors, but I think building a student-instructor relationship is important. It really is. How much is an hour at your flight school? Including plane and instructor, it's about 140. Have a look, Baz. It's about 140, including tax, I think. And that's the plane, the instructor, fuel, everything, insurance, everything. Ma, Squirrel, just wanted to say, your internet connection has been lost. Try again later. Thank you, Ma. Definitely not affordable over here then, other than fly once per month. Why, how much is it over there, Baz? Hopefully this week, good boy. You made a former flight student of yours cry. Didn't mean to, but he took my advice and became a great student. Was that a case of just like giving him some like hard feedback though that he needed? Oh boy. Mr. Gibbons, thank you very much for the host. Good evening to you. How's the racing been this evening? That's called floating the gears. Zugoku. Yeah, you can do that. Sharpson79, welcome to the house. Thank you for your support, Sharpson. He's a Chinese student who struggled with English and because of that struggled with flying. How much does it cost you to go from noob to PPL? Fifth in your season of F1 2018 with McLaren. Nice. Very good. How much does it cost you? I don't know. I could look it up, but I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, at a guess, I've probably done at least 40 odd hours now. Maybe more. Maybe 45. times 140. And then you've got bits and pieces on top, you know. Things that you have to buy, like you have to buy a map, and you have to buy a logbook, and you have to buy some pens, and protractors, and computing wheel, and it's like other bits and pieces. Then you need a headset. So there's stuff on top of it. You can more or less expect to pay something between 7 and 10k, depending on how many hours you need, how much flying you do. But you know, once you've got it, you've just got like your medical to cover, and then whenever you fly, you pay. Yeah, Baz, I don't like 150. They have a Cessna 152 at my school. I don't use it. It's just way too small for me. €172 is €200 an hour. I think over here, I'm going to sneeze. Am I going to sneeze? I'm going to sneeze. Okay, what gear are we in? What the heck, man? Are you in up or down? Random. What was I saying? 172, Baz. I think it costs about 170 including instructor, 160 without. That tends to happen to you at roundabouts. Hey, fun. Complete PPL on a 172, 12,000 euros. Yeah, you don't want to do it in a 172, Baz. It's too expensive. How tall are you, Baz? I mean, the other thing to consider, Baz, is like it's taken me over a year to do it, so you don't have to do it at like a crazy pace. Like you can do it in 6 months, but you can just spread it out. If you used to fly once a week, you can, you know, perhaps budget for that. Because you're going to have exams as well. And you're going to get rained off on certain weeks. .86 meters, right, so you're as tall as me, which means a 152 is not gonna, it's just not gonna work. They only have 150, 152 is 172. Ugh. Yeah, that sucks a bit. You're going to have to do a 172, Baz. 152s are just too cramped. I mean, you can try it. Just go over there and try and sit in one, see what you think, but they are, like, they're on the limit for a man of your height. Private pilot's license is what PPL stands for. I leveled up. Yay! Demios with half a year. Not here all the time, but love supporting you want to do. Keep it up. Thank you for keeping up your support, Demios. Ugh. You know, if you're small enough, the 152s and stuff are fine. But if you're taller like me and Baz, then it ain't gonna work. Like those Robins that I fly are on the limit of me in terms of height. But once I'm done with my PPL, I don't want to fly in one. Glad you enjoyed it, Chris. Guys, it's been a fun weekend of nutty convoy goodness and doctor's surgeries and things like that. It's been fun. Of course, my kitchen work starts tomorrow, so I've got a heck of a week ahead of me. Hoping to do my qualifying cross-country, which is another major step in my PPL. Hoping to do that this week because the weather looks like it's going to be fine. I think I'm without power on Tuesday and possibly Wednesday as part of the kitchen work, so that's going to be great. I don't know yet, Connor. I mean, I would hope that I don't need to cancel streams. My NAS drive is down. My NAS drive is underneath my desk here. My NAS drive is dead. So there won't be any videos, I don't think, either. So it's going to be a bit of a rip week. But hopefully I can stream on Thursday. I am flying on Thursday, I think. So if I get back late, there might be a late start. But if my network or electric's down, whatever, I can't stream. But I'll post in Discord and Twitter anyway. I don't think I'll be filming the flight, Goon Boy. I'll be way too focused on what I need to do. But yeah. I shall kick off the playlist shortly after the stream ends. And I hope you have a great week, whatever you're doing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And I'll be back in a few days. Welcome back, Mr. Rubku. You can use your phone while you want to, MPI, yeah. So, that's it from me. Have a good week. If you go back to school and stuff, have fun. I'll see you in a few days. Take it easy, guys. Love you all. Good night.